You've seen all these crazy stories of people making hundreds of thousands of dollars from passive income and wondered if it's worth giving up your 9-to-5 job for. But then, there are the active hustle stories of people who have built 7- and 8-figure businesses from their laptops in just a few years, and you can't help but wonder if that is the better option. So which one is it? Is it the laid-back, slow and steady path of passive income? Or the grind and hustle culture of starting a business? Well, first off, let's take a look at the money, aka the green stuff. The amount you make with passive income and business both depend heavily on what you invest. With passive income, most of the time it means investing money into things like stocks, real estate, or bonds, and earning a return on that investment. The amount you earn depends on how much you invest. For example, if you put $1,000 into an average interest savings account, you'd earn around $10 a month in interest. Not bad, but not life-changing either. Now let's say instead of putting that $1,000 into a savings account, you used it as a down payment for a rental property that rents out for $1,000 a month. After expenses, you still made $600 a month. That's 6 times more than the savings account and pretty life-changing when it comes to quitting your job. The cool thing about this example, though, is that it shows the power of leveraging other people's money or debt to multiply your returns. To get that rental property, you probably had to take out a mortgage, meaning you only had to put down 20% of the property's value as a down payment, which in this case would be $20,000. You can then use the $980,000 you borrowed to buy the property, which makes money and pays off the loan all at the same time. With passive income, the more money you invest, the more money you will make. But the issue is that most people do and have a lot of extra money lying around. So it's harder to really ramp up those earnings. The second issue is that it's also harder to scale because, let's face it, there's only so many hours in a day, and there's only so many properties you can manage yourself. If you hire a property manager to take care of it for you, then you're taking a cut of your profits to pay them. So unless you find a way to automate it, your earnings will eventually plateau. Starting a business, on the other hand, offers a completely different kind of challenge. Instead of buying properties, you're building something from scratch, and you're limited only by your own ability to execute. There's no limit to how much money you can make beyond what you can personally handle, and you can grow as much as you want without having to find someone else to help you. It's pretty much the dream come true for anyone who wants to be their own boss and build their empire from nothing. The key difference here, though, is that while passive income relies on being able to invest a lot of money up front, business is more accessible for beginners, since you can start one with very little money and leverage other resources like your time, skills, and creativity to build a brand and generate revenue. That's why we see a lot of people nowadays who have built multi-million-dollar businesses from their laptops using only the internet. The right mindset, you can do it too. For example, one of our team members just made a full-time income from his online store. In fact, he even quit his job after making $5,000 in 1 month. His secret: selling printable wall art. He didn't need to spend thousands of dollars on inventory. He didn't need to fulfill any orders or deal with customer service. He simply created digital products that were instantly available to customers after purchase. And the best part is that once you make the initial investment of time to set everything up, you can mostly forget about it and let the sales roll in even while you sleep. There are countless other examples of people making insane amounts of money from selling digital products like Notion templates, website themes and plugins, email courses, YouTube ads, and so on. And it's not limited to digital products either. A lot of people are making a living from affiliate marketing, where they promote other people's products and earn commission on each sale. Some people even start their own blogs and make money from writing articles. Now granted, a lot of these examples require some skill and expertise. But the point here is that there are so many different ways to make money online, and most of them do, and require a huge investment up front. Of course, that doesn't mean it's easy. Making a successful business takes a lot of hard work, especially at the beginning when you have to build your brand. Find your audience and prove that people actually want what you're selling. It's also important to note that not all businesses are created equal, and a lot of them end up failing. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't try. Most people overestimate how much passive income they'll receive from their investments and underestimate the amount of work it takes to run a successful business. As Warren Buffett said, the difference between the 1% and the 99% is that the 1% is willing to do what the 99% is UNT. And while this quote doesn't specifically talk about passive income or entrepreneurship, it rings especially true in these cases. Now, I know you might be thinking, yeah, but what about all those stories of people making millions from passive income? Yet those sound pretty enticing. Well, here's the thing. The media loves to hype up these extraordinary success stories because they make for good clickbait. But it's important to remember that these stories represent only a tiny fraction of the overall picture. For every millionaire you hear about, there are probably 1,000 people who lost money trying to copy them. On the other hand, business owners tend to be more humble when talking about their success, and that's why we don't hear as much about them in the media. But according to statistics, they're actually more likely to be making more money than their passive income counterparts. Take a look at this chart. It shows the percentage of income earned from various sources for people who are self-employed. You can see that while passive income makes up a small percentage of the pie, earnings from business operations make up a whopping 46%. This is further confirmed by another study, which found that the average side hustle income in the US is $11,000 per year. And the most common source of side income? You guessed it, business. Now, I know some of you might still be skeptical and wondering if all this hustle and grind is really worth it. Well, let me ask you this. If given the choice between two paths, one leading to financial freedom and the other to mediocrity, which one would you choose? If you're like most people, you'll go for the first option. Let me tell you something. The road to financial success might be filled with challenges, but it's definitely worth it. Think about the feeling of knowing that you're in control of your financial future and not at the mercy of a paycheck. Imagine being able to provide for your family without relying on someone else's charity. Or picture yourself retiring early and never having to worry about money again. These are just a few of the amazing benefits of achieving financial freedom. In today's world, it's more important than ever to have multiple streams of income. And whether you prefer the passive approach of investing or the active hustle of starting a business, the key to success is to find something that you're passionate about. When you find that sweet spot, you'll be unstoppable. Don't settle for a mediocre life. Go for greatness. Embrace the challenge and take action towards creating the financial future you deserve. Trust me, it's worth it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment below. Which one do you pick? Passive income or active hustle? Subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next one.